So I feel like starting the Pet Era podcast, my main motive was to help other pet business owners, prevent a lot of the things that I did when I first started my business. I wish I had someone to say, like, don't touch the stove and you're going to excel in your business. Those things I had to learn on my own. But in this episode, we're going to go over 10 things that just quickly came to my mind that I feel like were super important for me to know before starting the pet business. Now, of course, I'm going to have so many more, but for this episode, it's going to be my top 10 that ran to me today. So, number one being that the business has to run without you. I wish someone would have told me that when I first started, if everything depended on me, I was going to end up burnt out just as I was in my day job. I did not set up any systems. I was not really planning on delegating and really keeping things smoothly to run without me. As we start our businesses, as we grow, I've even seen my clients who've been in business, 5 years, even 10 years, still doing everything. We have coaching calls and they're like, you know what? I have to miss this call because I have to go tend to my business. I sincerely wish that someone would have told me everything you're doing right now, write it down, document it, and make sure if you were to leave today or tomorrow, your business can completely run without you. That's why I'm so passionate about this topic, because having children, spouses, pets, family situations, losing my father, there's so many things that are going to happen throughout your business that you are going to have to just want to decompress, step away, get yourself some PTO, paid time off. And we want to think about what we're doing right now in our business and how we can build that in for the unexpected, for us to be able to check out for a day, a week, just to recollect. But if you don't have that option for anything to happen in your life and you have to run to the next shift, it's really going to be a hard journey for you. And this is just a cautionary tale. Make sure right now you're running a business that can completely run without you. If you need help doing so, you know how to find me, and I'm happy to help you there. Number two is providing clear information in all channels. Offer multiple ways for clients and staff to access information. If there can be an issue, there will be an issue. If there can be a misunderstanding, there will be a misunderstanding. You all probably know that already. So don't just assume, like, I've already told them that, or they know this, or why are they asking me the same thing? If they're asking you the same question, a client or staff member, it means that you're not offering enough channels for them to get information. What do I mean by that? Your service agreements and your pamphlets. We want to assume that they didn't even read the service agreement. Let's just assume that. Now we have a quick starter guide that can help them, quickly grab the information. So through holidays, through, inclement weather, changing staff, anything they need to know that's on the service agreement, you can put that in a quick starter guide, same way as you were to buy a vehicle or such, appliances. How do I use this? Give me the quick sheet. You can create that for your clients. Service agreement, quick starter guide. You can also make additional pamphlets. Canva is super easy to use. Get the pro account, and you can make multiple pamphlets for your clients to refresh. Through content, clients who are watching your content, you can talk about things that are in your service agreement or frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions are not on your website just for fun. They're on your website because these questions are being asked. And so you want to remember, as you're going through your program with your business, that you're also frequently talking about things that are frequently asked. You want to make sure you're having training portals. Where can I go to find this as a client or as a team member? Are you creating videos? A lot of us have text. If you guys have bought my pet SOPs, those are all in text. I show you how to use them, but you can take that same script, that same text, and create videos for your team members and your client. So you don't want to say, hey, there was a misunderstanding, when it could have been prevented by offering multiple channels. Wherever they can go to be a misunderstanding, there will be one. Don't forget that. So that's going to help us shift our mindset on getting frustrated, working with our team, working with our clients. Remember, we're the leader of our business, and we want to make sure clients can get this information in multiple areas. If you're holding trainings for your team, talk about it. If you have a group chat going on with your team, talk about it. Things that are going on, keep it always top of mind. I wish that someone would have told me that in advance, because a lot of frustration frustration a lot of times where I'm like, I literally just said this last month. Okay, you're going to have multiple clients that are be coming in and out, and you're going to keep saying it. You're going to have different team members coming in and out, and you're going to keep saying it. I know a lot of times we think like we're doing this every single day and it's redundant and it's boring, but guess what? You collect money every single day. So anytime you collect money, anytime you provide a service every single day, you're going to be doing and saying the same thing every single day. So get comfortable with mastering the repetitiveness because it doesn't change. Number 3, your team will change over time. I know a lot of us, we ask for people to stay with us for 6 months to a year. We want the animals to get attached and connected. We want the clients to have some kind of sense of comfortability with who's coming in their house, who they see as a trainer, who they see in a grooming salon. They want to have some kind of familiarity. But remember, our forever plan is not always their forever plan. So we want to be okay with having a system that trains our people fairly quickly and for them to go from a newcomer to a veteran within a week. Okay, so our team is always going to change. We need to change, and we need to create systems to get the newcomers up and running even faster. You want to remember when you started, there's a lot of things that you had to learn over the course of you running this business. Well, as a new person, they're going to come in, they have no idea what's going on. How can you particularly get them up and running as soon as possible and with as much information as you possibly can? That goes back to number 2, creating all those portals. Number 4, clients just want to be heard. This is a big one that a lot of us will learn being in customer service of any industry. You want to remember that it's not about you. When a client comes to you with feedback, with issues, release yourself from the conversation and just listen. Clients want to be heard. They want to be able to talk to you, feel like you understood. They want you to recite back on what you heard them say to make sure you heard it. Remember those communication skills, and that you just get it. You do not have to feel like you need to fix the issue right then and there. I always give clients 24 hours to take in what they said, for me to sleep on it, for me to also talk to the team members who are involved, or even if I was involved, and then process what I can realistically do. Sometimes I can change exactly what the client requested, and it is going to benefit everyone, and it was a great idea. But sometimes it's very niche just to the customer specific situation. And I cannot at that very time change it, but I will put it to note for ways that we can implement it potentially in the future. But even if I can, I will make sure the customer knows that that was a great idea, or thank you for bringing this to my attention. You are completely heard today. And I will do my very best to make sure that this is going to benefit not only you, but anyone else that comes into our ecosystem moving forward. So a lot of these times, don't try to dodge your customers or like, oh, I got to call them back, or, the anxiety kicks in because you're not quite sure what they're going to say. Just release yourself from all of that and hear them out and say, you know what? Can I ask you for 24 hours just to kind of process this, and I can get back to you with a complete answer tomorrow? Whatever you need. You can ask for permission to pause the conversation and get back to them. Okay. So don't ever feel like you need to rush something or, just be agreeable, because the worst thing you can do is just say, yes, I'm so sorry. I'm going to handle this. I'll do this. And then ends up hurting everyone in the long run. So number 4, make sure that you are hearing your clients and you're also taking your time as a business owner to process what they're saying so you can make an adequate leadership decision moving forward. Number 5 is sticking to your service agreement. Your service agreement is not just paperwork. This is your binding contract, but most important, the agreement that you and the consumer agreed upon before moving forward. Now, if your customers are not reading their service agreement, that's on them. But you want to make sure that the service agreement is so detailed that for any reason that the client has a misunderstanding, you can always result back to number 5, number 3, number 2, whatever paragraph in your service agreement pertains to what they're talking about. I see a lot of these generic service agreements that are written out that's just like, no liability, held harmless, very basic. It doesn't talk about anything about their key policy. It doesn't say anything about changing staff. It doesn't say anything about holidays. It doesn't say anything about cancellations. Nothing about late fees. Like all the things that you have going on in your business, you want them to agree upon. It needs to say this. A lot of your guys' service agreements don't even mention the governing state. Again, I can always tell when you just bought this off of someone who probably is not even a pet provider, or maybe an old school 1990s pet provider, and very little information on how a service agreement should be written. I have had multiple years in $1 million car dealerships that I had to audit, read, and make sure the service agreement makes sense. You guys want to make sure your service agreement is your Bible to the business, okay? Everything needs to be in there. Making too many exceptions in your service agreement will also lead you to burnout. So you want to make sure if a client has a question or an exception, or they want you to, help them out, find out if it's in your service agreement, because if not, you may be committing to something that, again, like I said, number 4, you're going to be hurting the business entirely. So the service agreement is the blueprint. Why do I like the service agreement so much? Because it also trains my team fairly quickly. When I'm missing and someone cannot ask me a question or another upper management a question, they can simply just read the service agreement. Hey, Natasha, can we do this? Can we do that? Does it say it in the service agreement? If it doesn't say in the service agreement, it needs to get approved, and that takes 30 days. Like, you could just say a time, if it's not in the service agreement, unfortunately, to make any changes to the service agreement, it would take a significant amount of time to do so. That's it. Because 9 times out of 10, anything that's coming your way is a one-off situation, and it's not going to benefit the business. So if you're not quite sure if you have a ironclad service agreement, or if it's super clear, or you're getting a lot of questions and texts and emails, although you have an agreement, I bet you the service agreement is written not so great. So take a peek at that. You can always send your agreement over to us, and we can help you out there as well. Number 6 is making sure you advocate for the pet. Don't forget that these pets are our babies also. We're their entourage, and we're the people speaking for their well-being. You may find that a lot of times our clients are not as educated as you are when it comes to the welfare of animals. So versus making the client feel bad or shameful, you understand that, listen, I want to have a conversation with you to talk about the pet's well-being and how we can improve not only your life, but the pet's life. That is a conversation that you want to feel full empowerment to have with customers. You also want to make sure you're not letting any conflicts with the client affect the level of care and service that you provide to their family. Anytime you get in an argument with the client, you're hurting the animal. Always remember that. If I get in an argument or a spat with this client, I'm not just winning the argument with the client. I'm actually hurting the animal. I'm not going to be able to see what the pet's doing. They're not going to be with their friends anymore. They're not going to get the same level of training, the level of grooming, the level of pet care. You know what I'm saying? Or the parent may end up buying them garbage to feed them every day. You want to make sure that you can articulate what exactly is going on in the most respectful way as you can, so you can be the advocate for the pet. Number 6 is setting realistic business hours. Now, I fell into this too, opening like all day, starting as a dog walker, pet sitter, boarding, pet taxi. We opened up like 7 a.m. and then we went pretty much until like 9 p.m. And where a lot of other pet pros were doing that, I knew that in my heart of hearts, I did not like it. I did not like being open from the crack of morning to the crack of dawn. I did not like it. So you want to set realistic business hours for what business you want to have. My first business, I started off all hours we were open, from early morning pet sitting. Then I had to realize that I did not enjoy this, nor did it keep the lights on, any recurring revenue to my business to be open all day. It hurt my payroll. It hurt my team. We weren't able to offer full-time hours because the hours were kind of all over the place. Just because I saw someone else or an older coach saying that that's what you're supposed to do, when essentially I knew how to run a level 10 business from experiences that I had lived on my own from going to other people's corporations and businesses. So I realized that I wanted to scale my hours. I wanted to scale my services down to where our clients primarily needed us within our membership program. My second pet care business, which is fully walk and train and dog training, board and train, those hours are run throughout Texas. Texas is very hot. So we're only open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is when we do services. We do not run in the evenings. Clients will find a way to come to your training sessions if they want to work with you. So versus us being outside in the heat or, chasing the client down in the evening and then dealing with daylight savings time and not having enough time to work with the client, getting bit by mosquitoes, the best time for us to train outside was in the morning, and that's our business hours. 8 a.m. to 12 is when we run our training session, and clients sign up. That is optimal for us. So don't feel like you need to be pigeoned into these specific hours that don't really fit your dream business. Anytime I'm consulting with anyone, the first thing I want to talk about is how can we outline your dream business? When you identify what your dream business is, your clients are also going to feel and benefit from being in that environment. So set realistic business hours. Okay. It's just going to cause nothing but excess stress to the company. Number 8 is becoming the community advocate. I know a lot of us are introverted. I think I've turned introvert throughout my pet life these days. But you want to get involved in the community as much as you can. Your customers are in the community. The, dogs, cats, birds, chickens, horses you serve are in the community. You want to build relationships with other businesses, not just pet businesses. My best customers have nothing to do with the pet industry. Nothing. Literally. Realtors are my best customers. Gyms are my best customers. Okay. Apartment complexes, of course, are my best customers. A lot of these people have nothing to do with vets' offices and pet shops because they're doing their own thing. And they probably have the mind of a pet provider like us. So they're not really giving us juju and juice and insight that we wouldn't get from other industries, as I talk about all the time. So if you're actually getting out of your house, getting out of the small neighborhood you're in, build community, see who's there, see what houses are coming up, see what realtors in the neighborhood, see what pop-up shops are happening, that's going to help you build out a community that you're proud of and your business can thrive in. So practice on being a community advocate. If you want to do Instagram pages, let people know what's hot in the area, what's coming up, what's popular. Running a Facebook page or a Facebook group community or a private community, let people know what's happening and where they can go, where they can socialize their pets. Like, are you hosting that thing? Is someone else hosting it? Become a community advocate. I promise you will really see the difference growing your business organically without a bunch of ad spend and everything else. That's a whole nother episode on its own. Number 9 is each interaction is a new interaction. What that means is if you were with a dog or a cat and they bit you or vomited or threw up and you were like, oh my God, today is just starting off so crazy, or I'm exhausted from what just happened. Remember that every interaction is a new interaction. So what I like to do is completely release my body of what just happened, and the next house I walk into or the next client I put on my grooming table, you need to know that this is a whole new client with a whole new experience that they deserve. So please release that energy out of your soul. Take 5 or 10 minutes if you have to. Go put some lipstick on. Go to a coffee shop if you have to. Whatever you need to do to reset yourself, because each new interaction deserves all of you, right? We know that. That's why we do what we do. But one thing I can say is that snowball effect. If something happened and I'm cleaning up poo and, I'm like, oh my God, I'm late and now my time windows are messed up, and it just like rolls and rolls and rolls. And then all of a sudden the next house, I leave the key on the counter, and then it's just a whole snowball effect. So make sure you're also teaching this with your team. This helped me a lot. Like just saying, reset, pause, stop, take a second, make sure I have my bearings together, make sure I have all my supplies, everything I need, and let me start over, because obviously for the safety and your mental well-being. And lastly, number 10 for this episode is that you deserve to live well. What we do requires you to be living your very best life. You need to be happy spiritually, mentally, financially, Physically, you need to be happy and in your best spirits. So you need to value your time. This is me talking to my old self, 9 years ago. Value your time, your skills, your energy, your hard work merits high compensation and a fulfilled life. If you're waking up every day and like, not another day, not another day, or I got to run in here and do this, or the holidays are coming up and I'm going to be dealing with this now, you are not living your best life. Have a deep conversation with yourself. Where are you today and where could you be tomorrow? What could you change to make sure that your business is more fulfilled? You're happier. You're just excited to start this business as you did from the very first day. But make sure if it's between your pricing, your time, your business hours, your team members, someone needs to be removed. Make sure you're building a business that benefits your mental well-being, your client's mental well-being, and your team's mental well-being. You deserve to live well. I hope this episode empowered you. I hope you got 10 little tidbits that can help you be a better pet pro in your pet era. Learn from my mistakes, some things that I wish I could have told myself earlier that I had to learn throughout the journey. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you on the next episode.